Once upon a time, there was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. Status quo. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey there, Jordan Sheridan live on what's today? Tuesday? Is today Tuesday? December 17th, 2019. Sorry I'm late. I'm working on a written story that I was trying to have ready for the live stream, but unfortunately I didn't want to rush it, so I hope to have it ready tomorrow. That story is, Pete Buttigieg's campaign. Somehow in Indiana, it's okay to just delete campaign finance documents. So Pete Buttigieg's campaign records from when he ran as mayor are essentially gone. The Center for Public Integrity and the Young Turks actually got them, I guess, for another story. But that story kind of looked into his South Bend, Indiana donors from his first mayor's race. The story I'm working on is looking at his donors from outside of South Bend. And shockingly, in 2011, when President Barack Obama was facing an uncertain future, the economy still pretty weak after the global financial crash, shockingly, there was a lot of donors coming from outside of South Bend, Indiana. A lot of donors coming from Washington, D.C. Why would donors from Washington, D.C., consultants, pollsters, Obama administration officials be funding money to some mayor's race in little old South Bend, Indiana? It's very interesting. So I'm working on getting that donor information for you, because it kind of shows a story of basically the Democratic Party, Obama world, the DNC, all of them were basically grooming Pete Buttigieg as early as 2010, 2011. And he had the whole resume, you know. He was Harvard, Oxford, Rhodes Scholar, Afghanistan war vet, McKinsey. He had climbed Mount Meritocracy, Pete Buttigieg. And Obama world loved it. I think you're going to be very interested in the amount of donations he got from figures in the corporate Democratic establishment. So hopefully I'll have that story for you tomorrow. Also happy to announce that I will be going to South Bend this week. So we're doing it, baby. We're going to South Bend. It's time to show the real Mayor Pete. Some of you might say, Jordan, why are you spending so much time on Mayor Pete? Well, I mean, I take the polls with a grain of salt in a lot of cases, but we can't bury our head in the sand either. This man has been propped up by the Democratic Party, the DNC, into, if you ask me, if the Iowa caucus were held today, I think it's a coin toss between Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. So I think it's important to have on-the-ground reporting in South Bend to show who's the real Pete Buttigieg. We know about his relationship with the black community. We'll definitely look into that. But I don't think there's been a lot of focus on what exactly has he done in South Bend, Indiana? What exactly qualifies Pete Buttigieg to run for governor of Indiana, much less president of the United States? What is this economic development that they speak of? So we're gonna look into that. Thanks to you, Status Coup members, funding us. This is a super chat, so definitely give us some love in the super chat today, because we definitely could use your help. Funding this kind of reporting is not cheap. It's me, a camera person, flights, hotel, rent a car, food. It ain't cheap, but we are not interested in only coming to you from our apartments and homes and this and that. We want to get out into the trenches, and you've helped us do that. There's the map. We look forward to adding South Bend, Indiana to that map. So I'll be going there this week. Look out for emails and text messages. Hint, hint. Sign up for our text alert system. We'll definitely be sending out text alerts while I'm in South Bend to get around this YouTube notification delays and suppression. All you got to do is text 474747 and enter Coup, C-O-U-P, to join our text alert system. Today we also have a little enticement to get you to sign up for membership. Yesterday, Jen Dyes, co-founder of Status Coup, she went undercover. She went undercover at the DNC's swanky fundraiser. There's Jen looking up and wise and intellectual and curious. She's not looking up at Tom Perez, obviously. But Jen did speak with Tom Perez before he sprinted like Usain Bolt away. He didn't want no part of Jen, but she had some other conversations. So that video in full is up for Status Coup members. Sign up to be a member for as low as a cup of coffee per month. That's actually wrong. We're at 746 Status Coup members. We're hoping through this trip to South Bend, through Jen's great undercover reporting at the DNC's fundraiser, we could get, I would love to get 30 to 50 new members through this through this South Bend trip. So we'll play some of Jen's video, just some. Members get the full video. It's up now. So looking forward to that. But we got to start. Oh, before I forget, press the like button. You know the drill. We got almost 200 people watching. More people that press the thumbs up button under the video, the more people that will see this live stream. I talked about our text alerts. Follow us at Status Coup. We're live on Periscope right now. What's up, Periscope? Follow us on Twitch. We're also live there at twitch.tv/Status Coup. And join our email list. Go to statuscoup.com. Enter your email there. And we're going... Jen's in the super chat, so she could tell you, don't rely on YouTube to notify you when I'm live in South Bend or what we're doing in South Bend. You got to join our email list. You got to join our text system to get updates on what we're doing, who we're speaking with, all that jazz. So we will be there this week. So definitely sign up. So, Mike Sarvis, is the new site up? Yeah, we've definitely made some significant tweaks, so go check it out, statuscoup.com. So, I'm going to start with Joe Biden because honestly, to me, the biggest danger of Donald Trump, I mean, it's kind of a buffet table, take your pick. Obviously, I'm saying this is a white man, so I understand black people and indigenous people and brown people might feel differently than me because I have privilege just like every white person has. Most of it's subconscious, but, you know, you got to recognize your privilege. So I say, as a white person, to me, the biggest risk of Donald Trump is to the planet. He is taking a machete to our planet between repealing Obama's regulations for clean air, clean water, which frankly Obama's regulations weren't even far enough, but they were something. Drilling offshores in the Arctic, all of what Trump's doing. Basically playing footsie with this maniac Bolsonaro who's burning down the Amazon. The list goes on and on and on and on. And Donald Trump is very open that he's trying to make America the leader around the world in oil exports, in natural gas exports. So all these pipelines that are being rammed through your neighborhood, they're not for energy independence. They're for Donald Trump, the Republican Party, and most Democrats, donors in the fossil fuel industry, to export the oil and make a lot of money. It's not for us. It's not for us or any independence. So that's why I say, I don't think we could fool around here with another 4 years of Donald Trump. I just don't. Your privilege is showing. Well, black, white, the planet doesn't really care if you're black or white. The planet's burning all over the place. Look at California. A lot of wealthy stars are having to evacuate their house in the wildfires. So, I'm just saying on this issue, yes, of course, a lot of this environmental racism and the environmental contamination issues happen in poor black neighborhoods, poor brown neighborhoods. But I'm just talking bigger picture. The planet is in peril if Donald Trump has another 4 years. But Joe Biden, I'm not saying he's equal to Donald Trump. He's not. But Joe Biden as president also will usher in the destruction of the planet. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it's alarming to me. I haven't even seen this on television news. I've read it in some articles. It just came out that ExxonMobil's well blast put out more methane in last year. They're a major well in Ohio that blasted. ExxonMobil put out more methane than some countries do in a year. This is one well blast. ExxonMobil, last year. Using data from satellites, the researchers found that a well explosion in Belmont County on February of that year, 2018, discharged methane at a rate of about 80 tons an hour and lasted nearly 20 days. The end result was more methane in the air than the oil and gas industries of France, Norway, and the Netherlands emit over a 12-month period, according to a study published Monday in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. Quote, we deeply regret the event occurred and have instituted systematic well design and monitoring procedures, blah, 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 blah. ExxonMobil says, we've played this record before. This is what they always say. First, they say it's a lot smaller than you think. It didn't reach any critical drinking water sources, or, it's small, and then you find out, oh, wow, no, it was freaking major. Methane is 84 times more conducive to global warming than carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. But wait a minute. I thought natural gas was natural, because methane comes out of natural gas. Fracking. I thought this was the clean energy of the future. Remember, by the way, don't even get me started on the Republican Party, but you had the Democratic Party in the late 2000s pushing the fossil fuel industry's talking point that natural gas is a cleaner alternative. It is a cleaner alternative. So, if you live in Ohio and you live in that area, I'd reach out to your local councilmen, congresspeople, Senate, and find out what they're doing about that. And I would go get a blood test. Go get your lungs checked. I'm not fooling around here. That's a lot of methane into the air. And why this is so alarming, Biden, it's not really, he's not challenged on it. Biden is a leading presidential candidate. I'll throw in Pete, too, because as far as I know, Pete is not for banning fracking either. He's not going to ban fracking. Joe Biden said he would not ban the practice of fracking of natural gas, distancing himself from some of his Democratic rivals, but said he would evaluate existing fracking permits to, quote, determine their safety. Quote, we could pass national legislation, but I don't think we would get it done to say all fracking going on ends unless we could say there is some physical security need. Oh, unless there's some physical security need. Well, let me ask you a question. Bear with me for a second. Joe Biden, rightly so, it's an easy issue to be on the right side of, is for banning assault weapons, taking extreme measures on gun control. I would say that's a physical issue, as he's quoted in this piece as saying. Physical security need. I understand that it's not as visually horrific, and it doesn't seem as visually imminent. You're looking around at these school shootings, movie theater shootings, mall shootings, Walmart shootings, blah, 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 blah. Like, we could see that. How is all of these wildfires, all of these hurricanes, all of these earthquakes happening due to fracking. If you're watching in Oklahoma, you know what I'm talking about. How is this not a massive, a national security issue? You wait for the refugee crisis for climate change. It's already starting. We have to study the safety? This is like politicians decades ago saying we need to study the safety of cigarettes. I mean, it's alarming. Maybe it has to do with the fact that some of his top advisors have made a lot of money from natural gas companies. I mean, Obama, who Biden wraps his arms around as his BFF, Obama openly bragged that he set the record for fracking and natural gas as president and drilling until Trump obviously beat him. I'm not saying Joe Biden would be worse than Donald Trump. Obviously, Donald Trump has doubled and tripled down on Obama. But on fracking, on climate change, Josh Fox puts it very well. We don't have the luxury of taking the lesser of two evils because we're on the clock here. There is no lesser of two evils when it comes to the environment because less bad still will do irreversible damage in 10 to 12 years. The UN report says that, and that was before the Amazon started burning. And by the way, I don't know, are you feeling super that I'm going to report in the field this week? Nobody else is feeling super. I haven't gotten a super chat. It's very depressing, actually. This is a super chat. I'm going to South Bend this week. Please support our reporting. So, I'm not shocked at this, but I'm very horrified. And by the way, when you have moronic outlets like the New York Times, literally continuing to write these ridiculous headlines, a methane leak seen from space proves to be far larger than thought. It's always far larger than thought. The problem is the New York Times, the Washington Post, the local media, CNN and MSNBC don't even bother covering these things. They just regurgitate what the fossil fuel companies tell them. Whenever you read about an oil spill, whenever you read about a natural gas explosion, it's always the same exact language. It's the same exact reporting. Thank you, Lawrence Johnson. $10 in the super chat. Carol Edwards, $50. Very much appreciate your kind support. I actually sent you an email yesterday. I hope you got it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming in the super chat. We got almost 300 people watching, 160 likes. I'm not good at math. I think that's over 100 more of you. Just press that thumbs up button kindly right under the video. So it's what is alarming to me. And again, the media is not going to cover this. You got Joe Biden, who isn't going to ban fracking. Clearly, he's going to allow the status quo because a lot of his donors are from Wall Street. Actually, most of his donors are from Wall Street. So it's not just a direct line, oh, is he getting money from Exxon? No, he's getting money from Bank of America. He's getting money from ExxonMobil. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, all of them are the ones invested in projects like the Dakota Access Pipeline, projects like the Keystone XL Pipeline, projects like the Mountain Valley Pipeline, projects like the Trans-Pecos Pipeline, the Rover Pipeline. I could go on and on and on. Keep it coming. Gene, $9.99. I'm super excited. SB in my hometown. Oh, you're from South Bend? Looking forward to it. Jill Nell, $9.99 in the super chat. Thank you. Nick Thompson, $2. Joe Biden is a buffoon. Feeling super. I'm feeling super with you. Mike Thompson, $2. Thank you very much. Kelly Elaine, always coming through. $20. Keep it coming, folks. Really appreciate it. Suris, 1976, $10 with a wonderful sticker. Yes. So it's not just the fact that he won't ban fracking. Joe Biden is Hillary Clinton with a penis. Hopefully YouTube's new policies of harassment don't demonetize me for that. It's not a threat. It's just the truth. Joe Biden is a warmongering hawk. There was an article that just came out, shockingly by the Daily Beast of all places, that exposed, no. Joe Biden didn't just vote for the Iraq War. Joe Biden was George W. Bush's cheerleader for the Iraq War. Joe Biden, after the war was launched, was going around citing, we're not going into nation build, we're on a peace and security mission. Joe Biden literally said, I voted for it because Bush promised to send inspectors in. What? You voted for it knowing that they hadn't found any weapons of mass destruction? Kind of like Trump bombing Syria before inspectors were sent into Doma? So Joe Biden is Mr. Military-Industrial Complex. Joe Biden, you think the $738 billion defense budget that they just voted for is, you think he's going to lower it? Oh, no. And why that's dangerous? Who is the biggest emitter? Who is the biggest emitter of carbon dioxide on planet Earth? Who is the biggest emitter and the biggest culprit towards climate change on planet Earth? Say it with me, folks. Do you know who? Pentagon. So, I'm just saying, folks. Bernie, if you're watching, please bring this up on Thursday during the debate, which, by the way, it looks like the debate is happening. It looks like there's some type of agreement between the labor union that was picketing and striking and the massive food company Sodexo. So that's good news. Hello, Soul, $10 in the super chat. Thank you. So it's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And I got to be honest with you. Joe Biden, if he becomes the nominee, I don't even know how to cover that. Because all these people and Joe Biden himself, I mean, let me show you this ad from Joe Biden today. Let me show you his new ad, which basically, I feel like I've seen this before from a different candidate. Let's take a look.
American history is not a fairy tale. Thomas Jefferson wrote what many believe to be the most important document in human history. He was a slaveholder. We've never lived up to our American ideals. Jefferson himself didn't. But what he wrote has pulled us towards justice for more than 2 centuries. It's always a fight, and it's a battle that is never fully finished. But if Donald Trump is reelected, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation. We give Donald Trump 4 more years. This will not be the country envisioned by Washington. This will not be the nation bound together by Lincoln. This will not be the nation lifted up by Roosevelt or inspired by Kennedy. It will not be the nation that Barack Obama proved bends toward justice. We can't and I will not let this man be reelected President of the United States of America. I'm Joe.
My God, that was just touching. So yeah, let's just run Hillary's campaign. Trump's the Antichrist. Trump's awful. Trump's an unprecedented threat to human history. We'll throw out some names like Martin Luther King Jr., even though I jailed most of the black people Martin Luther King Jr. tried to free. But I digress. Who is advising these people? Who is advising Joe Biden? Who is advising Elizabeth Warren? Now she's talking about choice. Like, are they trying to lose? Hello? Iceberg, right ahead. So, Joe Biden, who is a fossil... God, I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying not to get demonetized, but I want to say it. Can I say it?
No, don't do it, Jordan.
He's a fossil fucker, damn it. Joe Biden is a fossil fucker, and he's not good for planet Earth. And more importantly, he is running Hillary Clinton's campaign. He's actually running it worse than she did. He has no policies. You go around and you ask any Joe Biden supporter, and I will, and by the way, swear jar, super chat, thank you very much. You go around and you ask any Joe Biden supporter, what's his big idea? Did you say idea, sir? He doesn't have any ideas. A public option as part of Medicare, Obamacare. Yeah, great. That's called a buy-in. That's also called a premium to buy into a public option. Oh, by the way, a public option is not Medicare. A public option is still competing with private insurance. Look it up. It's a train wreck. And by the way, I don't want to reiterate it because I went into this in depth yesterday. Bernie Sanders, we can't have any more of that weak sauce on Thursday. I know a lot of you worship at Bernie's shrine. I've been there before. But let's keep it real. He's got to come with Game of Thrones, dragon-breathing fire. I don't want to hear my friend Joe Biden anymore. Yes, he brought up the Iraq war already. Let's turn to other topics that Joe Biden is terrible on. Like fracking, like the bankruptcy bill, like Glass-Steagall repeal, like the Patriot Act, like deregulating derivatives, crime bill. Let's go on and on and on. Bernie's got the momentum now, but it's time to go for the jugular of Joe Biden, figuratively. Let's not get violent on stage. And hopefully, Bernie Sanders is going to have more time to talk because it's down to 7 candidates. Also, sorry if this offends the Yang gang. It's time for Bernie Sanders to brush an elbow on Yang. I'd like some of that 3 to 5% of math nerds to come back home to Bernie. Hey, if you're a Yang math nerd, I hope today woke you up. Did you see his healthcare plan that he put out there? It's not Medicare for all. It's not even a public option. It's a giant BJ to private insurance. Everybody has fallen for this Andrew Yang is like something new and fresh and revolutionary. No, he's not. He's a libertarian tech bro. I think UBI is a good idea. I don't like his version, but he's not for a $15 minimum wage. He's not for Medicare for all. Well, great. If private insurance now costs are going up 20% this year, look it up. Private insurance has gone up 20%. Here's $1,000 he's going to give you. Go spend $400 to $500 on your increased deductibles. Not to mention the taxes that will come out of that. So I would like to see Bernie, doesn't need to be aggressive toward Yang, but Bernie Sanders needs to stake his claim on stage. I am the only candidate for universal Medicare for all program. Everyone here has either backtracked or never been there in the first place, and here is why it is better than every other candidate. And he needs to name names, including Warren. Maine Bull 17, $2 in the super chat. Yang is running in the wrong primary, and I don't even hate Yang. He's not bad. I think he's genuine in a lot of things, but he's a market guy. He's not a socialist. He's a capitalism is great. We just gotta fight the robots. No. Another one. I got zero faith Biden Pete won't cut Social Security. You shouldn't. You should not. So that's it on Biden. I want to turn now, Jen, give me a ring, for the 317 people watching. We have a treat for you. You'll have to sign up as a member to get the full treat. But Jen, our co-founder of Status Coup, went to a DNC fundraiser last night. She spoke with Tom Perez, spoke with a lot of people there who were drinking champagne and caviar. And she has some interesting insights, I would say, into the direction of the DNC. Are they screwing with Bernie now? Are they not screwing with Bernie now? So we're going to talk to Jen about that. Jen, give me a ring if you're hearing this. Jen actually recorded a full video on this. I think it's like 15 to 20 minutes long, giving you a full breakdown on what it was like in that fundraiser, who she spoke with, what they said. Tom Perez sprinting like a friggin' marathon runner away from her. So definitely become a member. Become a member today. Sign up. Statuscoup.com. Statuscoup.com/join to see the whole video. But we'll get a little teaser from Jen now with our wonderful production. How you doing, Jen?
Hey, I'm good.
So,
hey,
wait a minute.
Here,
I did the wrong thing.
I wanted to do a member video.
There we go. So, let's hear. Why did you go to a DNC fundraiser? Have you sold out already?
Well, I was actually worried that people would think that I sold out because when you sign up for a ticket, you have to enter in your name and profession and like who you work for. So I didn't want people looking up who had donated to the DNC because that's what it shows up as and seeing my name there. So I was a little bit worried that people would, but then I figured it's a pretty easy explanation. So no, I have not sold out. We thought it would be a fun opportunity to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit.
So you went up to Tom Perez. I know he was leading with his values, but you interrupted him when you and tell me about that.
So Tom, it was actually kind of surprising because Tom, this was a room full of like DNC fans. Like Tom Perez is their idol. So he was kind of walking through though, kind of people weren't swarming around him or anything. People were being kind of polite and chill about it. So I had a wide open opportunity to talk to him at one point. So I did, and I wasn't there, presenting as a reporter like that. So I was, however, recording, which he didn't know. It's okay though, because DC is a one party state. But, so I started off with a warm up question, not anything weird, something that a normal person would ask. And I had read an article recently in the New York Times about him. I think it came out 2 days ago. And he was talking about the pressure and how no one's ever happy and stuff like that. So all I did was I said, "Hey, Tom, my name is Jen. I just, I was reading this crazy article and it just, I kind of just started off that way, just warming him up. And I could tell he was not into it. He was not having it. So he kind of just, when I said, how are you handling the pressure? I can't imagine how you do it. I was just trying to kind of be really nice and syrupy sweet. So he would answer my next question, which I was going to start to get to a Bernie question. But he looked at me and threw a quick answer at me, which I do say this in the longer video, and just literally then turned around and as fast as he could walked out of the entire party. So I thought that he was done and gone forever, but he came back maybe a half an hour later. So I don't know if he was just, he was definitely getting away from me, that's for sure. I don't know if he actually had somewhere to go or whatever, but it was, he was not having it.
So one more, because I don't want to give it all away. If you guys want to hear Jen's full breakdown, go become a member for as low as a cup of coffee a month. That would be $5 a month. Or if you guys like the venti frappafucka for $10 a month, we have $5 a month, $10 a month. I just put it in the super chat, statuscoup.com/join. But you also spoke with somebody who, who knows if they're being genuine, seemed to be singing a different tune on Bernard Sanders.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. So I don't want to give away who it was because I actually did like this person. I don't want to burn this person.
I do.
I know. That's what I was like, Jordan's not going to be happy because I actually did not have a terrible time and I didn't think the people were awful. And I get into why I think that is, and I go pretty in depth. Like, the video is pretty quick, but I go into why I think these people were not as terrible as they could have been. But now I'm off on a tangent. I didn't even know what I was talking about. Oh, so I was talking to someone high up in the DNC, and I presented myself not as a Bernie Sanders supporter, which hurt my soul, but I presented as, depending on who I was talking to, as an undecided voter. I even said that I like Warren and Buttigieg, which to this person I'm talking about high up in the DNC. And I presented like, oh, what do we do if, Bernie wins Iowa? What do we do if he starts to get it? I don't know if he can beat Trump, and that's what I care about. So she was, I think, very prepared for this. Obviously, she didn't know I was a journalist, but it seemed kind of canned in this way. Her other responses to me were not canned, and she actually ended up saying something to me that she definitely should not have said, and I go into that in the video, the members video. But as far as Bernie, I was kind of surprised because she said, his campaign is working with us. kind of hand in hand this time. There isn't that animosity. So she had some more interesting things to say, which, as I said, I get into more and more. But it was a very interesting experience, interesting people. And I think in general, the people in this room in particular, and again, I get into the reasons why in the video, were closer to not your everyday American, because it was basically like your everyday liberal DC resident. So not a total, mini America for sure by any means, but I think these people genuinely at least want good things, even though they're very misguided. So
yeah, I don't know about that, but I look forward to seeing.
I know. I was like, Jordan's take on this would be so different than mine.
So for this video, but what are some other reasons as I head to South Bend, Indiana, for 340 people watching? If folks aren't members yet, why should they sign up to become a member?
Well, actually, and this is something that Jordan doesn't even know. I hope you're okay with this, Jordan, because we've talked about it a lot. But soon I want to add another premium podcast to the membership, which I think will be really, really valuable. I also think it'll be good for us business-wise in general to do more with our podcasting and kind of spread our wings apart from YouTube. But there will be a premium, and again, I'll have to run this by Jordan off camera. But I think we've been meaning to do that for a while. So we're going to be adding more and more stuff. Once we get our camera person figured out and settled and editing things, they'll be adding more things. But we also do behind-the-scenes video diaries, like this video that I just put up about the DNC. You hear stuff, like you'll hear about the special, super secret goodie bags that we got at this DNC holiday party. And just behind-the-scenes pictures, behind-the-scenes videos. The monthly member call, I think, is what people really, really look forward to every single month, because Jordan and I get on. We use Zoom. You can be on camera or not, but we have our members. They're able to ask us questions. You can type in your question. You can get on camera and ask your question or whatever. We tend to reveal way too much information. Both of us, actually. Jordan always says that I get mad at him because he reveals too much, but I kind of get in the spirit too, and I start saying too much. But it's fun because we love our members. You guys are the reason that Status Quo exists. And really, $5 a month is it is substantial for a lot of people, and we don't want to diminish that at all. But if it is at all within your budget, we try to make levels accessible to everyone. We have the $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, or $179 annually. So there are options for everybody. And please, it really, really helps us report. It helps us get out there. And we will be adding more stuff for sure.
We don't have to sugarcoat it. An average trip in the field, this trip we're taking this to South Bend, going to cost us about $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, an average trip it costs us between $2,000 and $3,000. And like, as Jordan knows, I am scouring the deal sites and everything like that to find the best prices for flights and for Airbnb or hotel or whatever it is. We don't, we're pretty frugal when it comes to food. We really care about going to these places. We haven't taken a trip in a while. So, but it really adds up. But so do the monthly memberships. That's how Jordan says it all the time. That's how we grow. And it's so true. Like, you guys are literally the reason that the story that we're working on right now, that hopefully will be, that we plan on publishing in the next few weeks or so, you guys are the reason that we're going to be breaking one of the most major national stories in a long time. So you are part of that. So if you want a piece of this journalism, a piece of making a difference, and then on top of getting really, really cool stuff too, behind the scenes in the members area, go to statusquo.com/join. It'd be awesome if you do, and we'll put up more good stuff for you.
Thank you. Talk to you when I'm off.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, wait. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on in a few days?
In a few days? I don't know. What?
Aren't you? Shouldn't people sign up to celebrate something?
Okay, so I'm actually, there's two parts to this. My birthday is Saturday. I will be 35, which this is the first birthday that I'm actually horrified about. I've never really cared about my age before, but 35 seems especially like you're getting old at that point. So I'll be 35 on the 21st, but on the 22nd for the Super Sunday Super Chat Marathon live stream, I will be there in person. So you guys should sign up as a member. Maybe you'll get like extra birthday content or something cool. But sign up just to make me happy on my birthday. I actually get really embarrassed about my birthday. I hate being the center of attention, but I think it'll be a good, fun show, and hopefully we'll raise some money.
Wonderful.
Sign up.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
There you have it. Sign up. Tell your friends. Tell your mother. Tell the mailman. I don't care if your dog signs up. Just press that button, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Our goal for the end of the year, I don't think we're going to make it at this point, but we wanted to hit 1,000, but I'd take 800 at this point. So we're at 746 members, actually. So if you got $5 to $10 a month, we think real in the field reporting. And what's amazing to me, and I'm about to get to Bernie's campaign attacking the new member of the wine cave, Pete Buttigieg. What's amazing to me is you have all of these outlets with all of these resources, much greater resources than Status Coup. Yet I surfed the internet today. I just can't find any outlet that's actually interviewing like working people in South Bend about Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Like, I can't find anything. I found a couple articles TYT did, their investigative unit, but I don't really see any videos. I don't see any interviews. Like, I've had 4 conversations in the last 2 days on the phone with residents of South Bend. If these people were on camera months ago, this guy wouldn't be sitting in a wine cave. This guy would probably be sitting at 5%. If these stories went viral, I mean, one guy told me, you ever seen the Hunger Games? That's what it's like in South Bend economically, since Mayor Economic Development came swooping in. So, hey, if you live in South Bend, if you have a story, email info@statuscoup.com, info@statuscoup.com. I'll be there this week, so we definitely want to do as many interviews with the people. And I think it's important. The debate's on Thursday. Listen, unless he totally melts down in this debate, I do think there's going to be attacks on him from a lot of different sides. Unless he totally melts down, he's going to be a competitor in Iowa. He's, I think, Bernie's chief competitor in Iowa. I think Biden is going to have a real challenge in Iowa. I don't think Warren is falling apart in front of our eyes, and she deserves it. She has no spine. So it's Buttigieg versus Bernie in my view. So I think it's very important for us to expose this fraud. I don't know. Maybe he's a nice guy somewhere deep down that McKinsey soul of his, but he has not been a friend of the working man and woman of South Bend. Certainly not a friend of black men and women in South Bend. So we look forward to that reporting. Real quick, before I sign off. So, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen the images. I mean, I don't really know what I could say to this. Here is Pete Buttigieg. It almost looks like, if you watch Game of Thrones, like some Game of Thrones scene. That's him in they call it a wine cave. A massive wine cellar in California's, I think it's the Vineyards or what do they call it? The Valley. Reed Hastings, a major player on Silicon Valley, was a co-host, I believe. And this was a who's who of rich, filthy rich tech, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, all just sipping wine under a gorgeous, I say. Look at those Swarovski crystals. Look at those crystals. I mean, you got over 500,000 people sleeping in the streets tonight during the winter. But, boy, 150 Swarovski crystals making that beautiful, beautiful chandelier tree. And Pete Buttigieg, this is This is who's creating this new generation, this next generation of leadership. So Bernie's campaign, I thought, very cunningly and expertly, and it shows the difference between Bernie's campaign in 2020, as opposed to 2016. Bernie's campaign was on it. I think they got the URL for winecave.com. And it goes, you go to it, and it goes right to Bernie's fundraiser page. But Bernie tweeted out, I do not spend my time, not 1 minute of one day in this campaign, going to some wealthy person's home and sitting down with other millionaires and walking out with a few $100,000. Never did that, Sanders told Cedar Rapids. Buttigieg event was held at Hall Wines in Rutherford, California on Sunday night, just outside of the Napa Valley. Tickets started at the affordable price of $500 to $1,000 to receive a photo with PD, and a $2,800 contribution. A $2,800 contribution gave attendees access to the dinner with the mayor. I just want to know what they were eating. Was it human remains of the working class? Were they eating human remains of us? The media, of course, was not given access to the private dinner. Talk about transparency. Only allowed in during remarks PD made. After receiving criticism and pressure from Warren, Buttigieg opened his fundraisers. It's disgusting. I mean, it's just completely disgusting. And this is bribery. This is legal. This is the legal bribery of our system. And to think that this man, thank you, Seth Peterson, $20. You are amazing. No, you are amazing. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. Oh, did I miss one? Yes, Abu, $10. Appreciate it. Keep it coming. So, Cheryl, did I miss another one? Cheryl Tyler, $20. Thank you, Cheryl. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all you folks. Thanks for the support. We really, really appreciate it. So, what's amazing to me is this guy is talking about being a moderate. This guy is talking about being a new generation of politicians, bringing something new to D.C. He's out sliming Joe Biden. Like the competition for who is the biggest servant to Wall Street, Silicon Valley, it's close. I haven't seen Joe Biden in a wine cave. I mean, he's been basically bending over at every other event in Martha's Vineyard, Washington, D.C., Bethesda, Maryland, New York City. I think his campaign actually had a fundraiser in who was it? I'll get the financial institution wrong, but it was a bank's office. But this man, Donald Trump, is this notion that Donald Trump is like jonesing to go against Bernie Sanders. This is what Chris Christie said on the Sunday shows. It's absurd. Donald Trump would eat Pete Buttigieg for lunch. Donald Trump, the fact that he's corrupt, the fact that he's getting money from all these bankers, rolls off him. His voters do not care. And that 10% of voters that voted for Obama and then switched to Trump, they are still pissed off. That's why they switched to Trump in the first place. You think they're going to move back to the Democrats if you have corruption over here with Trump and corruption over here with Pete? It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Who's going to ask Pete about this wine cave fundraiser? Who's going to ask Pete about the fact that he literally has sold off the city of South Bend to the real estate industry? Who's going to ask Pete? By the way, I'm working on this story. That's why I was kind of late. But do you know, Huffington Post did a great story on the fact that Pete Buttigieg, while working at McKinsey, literally was on the team that tried to privatize the post office. Well, guess what? I obtained his financial records from 2011. In those financial records that, shockingly, the state of Indiana destroyed his 2011 campaign finance records of who donated to him. Well, the state of Indiana destroyed it. Pete Buttigieg's campaign won't release it. The Center for Public Integrity and the Young Turks, of all places, actually obtained these. I got it separately from a source. I've been going through these donors all day. Do you know? I'm sure the U.S. Post Office wasn't aware that Pete Buttigieg, because his client list wasn't out there. Do you know that the U.S. Post Office donated to Pete Buttigieg's campaign in 2011 15 times? Almost $4,000? $4,000 is not a small amount for the post office, particularly for a South Bend, Indiana mayoral race. This is the kind of voting against our own interest, funding against our own interest. They literally, no offense to the post office, they weren't aware that he was on this team trying to privatize the post office. They literally donated close to, I think the exact number was $3,920. They literally donated $4,000 to this guy who is trying to privatize the post office. You know who was on the front lines against the privatization of the post office? Bernie Sanders. So I'm hoping, the story I'm working on is not about that. It's actually about the fact that the Obama world and a lot of people in Obama world were funding Pete Buttigieg's first mayoral campaign in 2011. Why is it that you have speechwriters for Barack Obama, consultants for Barack Obama, ambassadors for Barack Obama in 2011 donating to some random mayoral candidate in South Bend, Indiana? Because Pete Buttigieg did the one thing the Obamas of the world value. He climbed Mount Meritocracy. And Colin's not here today, but I'm going to have him make a wonderful graphic of Mount Meritocracy. He climbed Mount Meritocracy. Harvard, Oxford, Rhodes Scholar, McKinsey consultant, Afghanistan war vet. You can't get better than that. Then, when he was in his second term, he came out as gay, which more power to him. But this portfolio, you cannot create a better mold of the neoliberal identity politic machine. And that's why there's so many donations from D.C., Bethesda, Maryland, Arlington, Virginia, all of the D.C. area to some random mayoral candidate in South Bend, Indiana. It shows that they were trying to groom Pete Buttigieg when he was just 27 years old to possibly be a future predecessor to Obama. Successor, thank you. Who's that smart woman behind the camera? It's honestly disgusting. It's disgusting. David Sirota of the Bernie Sanders campaign. I thought this was a good tweet. There's a story, why do young progressives hate Pete Buttigieg so much? Sirota said, no, most of these explanations are not quite right. The real explanation is the simplest of all. Young people are getting absolutely crushed by the billionaires who bankroll Pete in a wine cave. Oh, Sirota. By the way, I got to tell you, I'm slightly worried about David Sirota. I'm also slightly worried about Ryan Grimm. I hope we have Medicare for all to pay for their arthritis. These people are tweeting like 5 times a minute. It's crazy. I can't keep up with David Sirota's tweets. I digress. So as I wrap up, I'm going to wrap up, but I want to take a few questions, comments, and concerns. I'm going to South Bend this week, so if you want to super chat to support us, please, please, please get in the super chat. What? Jen texted me a shout out. Oh, I missed a super chat. Artificial Morphicin. Bernie is number 1 in California, and yet MSM announces Biden leads on Super Tuesday, was my super chat at Status Coup. Thank you, Artificial Morphicin. Absolutely. But to tell you the truth, and I've heard this theory coming out, I've heard this theory coming out, and it might be true. If 2016, if Bernie was crushed by the media for ignoring him, it's almost like Bernie's being helped this time by the media ignoring him. Obviously, when they cover him, it's unfair, biased. They barely even have Bernie Sanders supporters on CNN, MSNBC, and the pages of the New York Times, Washington Post. But it's almost like them ignoring Bernie is just allowing him to do his thing, is allowing his campaign to do their thing. We'll see if that ends up being true on the night of the Iowa caucus. Jordan, do a street interview show from Moscow. Okay. You could fund me, and I'll go to Moscow. It's a one-way ticket. One-way ticket. Stop it. Blah, 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 blah. So, we're going to South Bend. I think this is important reporting because to me, what we're going to do in South Bend is a little bigger than just Pete Buttigieg. It's not going to take me long to show this guy's just a dime a dozen neoliberal gentrifier. I think what we want to show you is there is an alternate reality that the media has created of who should lead this country and who's destroying this country. And all you got to do is look at South Bend, Indiana, Chicago, 90 miles west or east, 90 miles from South Bend, Indiana. All you got to do, look, New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Cleveland. I could go on. San Francisco, Seattle. There is an economic Hunger Games going on. And it's not just Buttigieg, it's Democratic mayors and Republican mayors, Democratic governors and Republican governors. And they all literally, after being responsible, after the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party is the one that began all this offshoring. After they essentially took a demolition crew to the entire industrial Midwest and other parts of the country, then when all of those places were left in the rot, you know what I'm talking about if you live there. They brought in whiz kids with a resume like Pete Buttigieg to find efficiencies, to help economic development, to attract business and investors. So first, the corporate Democratic establishment, which used to be for the labor unions, moved away from the labor unions to marry the professional class. You know what I'm talking about if you've read Thomas Frank's book, Listen Liberal. He's not funding me. I'm just throwing it out there. They destroy these parts of the country, and obviously Reagan with the union bashing and all that. It was a joint effort between the Democrats and Republicans. And then they gentrify it and say, South Bend's coming back. Detroit's coming back. Chicago's coming back. Yeah, Chicago's come back for a beautiful part of the river and 10 blocks. Chicago's great. Go drive around the rest of Chicago. Detroit knows what I'm talking about. Cleveland knows what I'm talking about. New York City. Thank you, Jim Garrison. $10. Feel the burn. Seems to be our only hope. It's not our only hope. We got to elect local candidates too. Bernie can't do it by himself. Poopy cakes. €2. Pete equals empty vessel media construct. I disagree. Empty privileged vessel media construct. Make sure you have the privilege in there. So we look forward to this. We will update you. Reminder, if you guys weren't here in the beginning, don't depend on YouTube to notify you when we're live. We are going to be live from South Bend quite a bit. Join our text system. Text 474747 and enter Coup. C-O-U-P. How do you spell it? C-O-U-P. Also, go to statuscoup.com. On the right side, you'll see a little box to enter your email. We will not send you 20 emails a week. We will not beg you for money. Well, we will, but not that much. But we also want to send out email blasts, text alerts when we're live in South Bend and other places. Because YouTube, I covered it yesterday. They're hiding us as much as they can in a cave. So please, please, please. Oh, Cyberclaw, I always get confused between which one's the pound, which one's the euro. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. Thank you for watching. I need to go shower. I need to go eat. I'm on the move. And we will definitely let you know when I'm in South Bend. It will be this week. Just putting the final touches on it. And thank you. Will it charge us if we do the text alerts? I don't want to be one of those sleazy people. Normal text message rates apply. You know how you get that message? I really don't know. I think so. I think it's a text message. I don't know. Jen, does it charge people? I'm not sure about that. But trust me, it's charging us enough. We get charged a shit ton of money for these texts. It's remarkable. It's really a racket, this text system. And the larger our list grows, the more we get charged. But we're trying to experiment with it to see, even if we could get an extra 50 viewers that don't know we're live because of the YouTube delays with notifications, if we could get an extra 30 to 50, that does make a difference. It does make a difference. And my last thing, I'm not beyond begging. We're at 746 status Coup members right now. I think we could get to 800 by the end of this year. We got half the month left to go. It's Jen's birthday in a few days. Well, I guess my brother's getting married soon, so that's positive. We need to grow our membership so we can hit the ground running in 2020. Covering campaigns are not cheap. We don't have the resources of CNN. We don't even have the resources of the Young Turks, not even close. Please, please, if you want real independent reporting, we're walking the walk. We're not just talking about it. That's where we've been. We want to add to that map. Thank you for watching. Please, please, please sign up as a member if you can. Peace out.